Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Father Knows Something. We got the crew.
The trio.
We are now like in the third week of February, or we're going to go, no.
I don't know. This will come out like February 17th, that Monday or Tuesday, 18th then? I don't know, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. So anyway, we've had a great week. Been busy and wonderful, wonderful day today. So now let's kick this thing off. What's our theme tonight?
Yeah. You going to say hi? You just haven't said a word there.
I just was enjoying listening about the wonderful week.
Our
and the
audio
wonderful
listeners
day.
would have no idea that you were here.
I was waiting for some specifics of, we could get to know you, what's going on in your life, but just great week, great day. It's what we got.
Well, you want to hear about the holy hell that I've been going through? You really want me to rain on everyone's parade?
Yeah, it's been a crazy, busy, stressful week for all of us. A lot of rain here in LA, pumping out the backyard again this week.
I think the ponies are the most stressed.
Yeah, I'm stressed. I'm going to be honest. I'm stressed. There's a lot of work stuff going on. So
one of my projects
tough.
I had runaway alcohol. 95% rubbing alcohol decided to disintegrate things.
Yeah, that was a Jerry boo-boo.
That's a Jerry boo-boo.
Rookie move.
It
Rookie
was
move
definitely.
there.
Jerry boo-boo.
Who would ever have imagined? So I've been playing.
I mean, I probably would have guessed.
I would never. I mean, the stuff has been it's been fine. And then all of a sudden
Because you left it on overnight versus a couple hours.
That's right. And let me tell you,
big difference.
I will never make that mistake again.
Never.
It's caused me about 2.5 weeks of hell.
Oh, geez.
It's kind of like how you think about, well, how did we determine or find out that this is poisonous to humans or dangerous?
Yeah.
Someone had to find out the hard way. Someone had to eat that berry, find out, well, if you eat that berry, it kills you. Otherwise, how would we have ever learned it?
So I was the sacrificial berry eater.
You were. But you know what? We don't want the people in these stories to be the sacrificial berry eaters. We want to try, between the three of us on this boucle furniture and all of you guys out there, we want to be able to intercept them at this critical point that they seem to be in and see if we can help them have a good outcome. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's kick it off. What is the theme?
Critical point.
Critical point.
Critical point.
Okay.
Feels critical. Feels big.
This is like you're on a teeter-totter. It's the critical point where you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
You like that?
Yeah.
Sound effects and everything, and the visual.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go see let's see who's going to be on the critical point to see which way the teeter-totter will totter.
Yeah.
Or teeter. Will it teeter? Will it totter?
We shall see.
Tell me my daughter.
Let's get into these.
Okay. Guys, she has to put up with this stuff. I'm thankful that you guys watch it.
You're not that bad. What number?
This is number 1.
My 29 female husband, Will, 40, and I have been together for 5 years. Ever since our first date, he has expressed his extreme love for cooking. He loves to make everything, even going to lengths to purchase textbooks for chefs. Even his own mother has mentioned how she gets nervous cooking for him because everyone is aware of the high standards he has for food. His love for food is causing a rift that I don't know how to fix, though. It comes in 2 parts. First, because he is so dedicated to handcrafting the meal, at times we are not eating until 10 or 11 at night. On New Year's Eve, we didn't eat until 1 a.m. in the morning, New Year's Day. I have tried to talk to him about starting prep earlier, cutting corners here or there, or simplifying the meal, but each time he gets upset with me. Now, I know what people are thinking, quote, "Are you offering to help?" The answer is yes, but this leads me to the second issue. I have never been one to cook. I've always lived with a friend or partner that enjoyed cooking. I even dated a true chef who was verbally abusive, especially in the kitchen. When I did live alone for around a year, I would cook small meals for myself that I enjoyed. Little pasta dishes, salads, sandwiches, etc. I was a huge fan of frozen chicken and frozen meals that could help make prep easier. I also struggle with ADHD, depression, and previously an eating disorder. A while into dating, Will would ask me to cook dinner. I told him about my past experiences, saying that I will try not to put too much pressure on food. I'd cook one of my small meals, and every time he'd tell me, quote, "Good job, but..." I'd used the wrong pan to cook the tomatoes, that my vegetable slices were uneven, my seasoning for the chicken was too much, etc. So I stopped trying. I felt like the kitchen just wasn't my place. However, now we fight about how he always has to cook. I have asked to not be critiqued every time, and he always replies with something like, "Don't you want to be better?" Quote, "So you can't take critique?" Quote, "It's sad that you wouldn't want to improve." I have expressed that if he continues to critique me, that I'll stop cooking, and he always tells me that's immature. What can I do? We both work full time. I do appreciate his cooking, and I think it's great, but I don't like upsetting him when I ask how long until dinner or to be told the meal isn't good enough every single time. Cooking just isn't a passion for me. Please help.
Communication, we always say, is the most important thing in a relationship. And you certainly have the ability of saying to him, I really love the way you cook. I love that you do it. But I really want to let you know that I am not going to eat past 7:30, 6:30, 5:30. I've certainly have had relationships where people have let me know that they don't want to eat at 8:00. I mean, when we were living together, we would eat at 8:00, 8:30, 9:00. It was way too late. When you guys went on your merry way and you guys have your home, I eat at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
That's just where I find that I eat, and it's better for me, and I digest things better. So you certainly have the ability of saying to him, "Look, I know you like to cook, and I'm not going to try to get into your kitchen. But unless we can eat by whatever you specify that time is, that, it isn't going to work well for that." And that's part of the deal. And you're not allowed to critique me because I'll cook earlier, but I don't want to be beat up. I'm not here to I want you to be able to appreciate that I came into the kitchen and I did it because I really don't want to do it. And I know you like to do it and you do it wonderfully, but you got to bring your time to where people can really function. And you got to define it and live it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough living with a Gordon Ramsay-like type where you can't just grab the quick meal and go when you need to.
Mm-hmm.
It's no, this has to be prepared this way. And even if we're not cooking it, wherever we go out, the only thing on my mind would be, oh, I wonder what he's going to say about this. I wonder what he's going to say about this or that. Versus having someone that's passionate about that and can cook a badass meal, but it doesn't have to be every single meal of the day. And because that's just not functional for normal life. Maybe there's someone out there who can cook a lavish, Michelin star type meal for every meal because they have time for it and that's what they like to do. But in this sense, it just doesn't seem to be functional. And so we're looking for some sort of compromise on his end to make this possible. Otherwise, this turns into a situation where sadly you'll be making your own meal at X time or picking it up, ordering out, however that works. He'll be doing his thing and we're always eating separate. That could be something for people, but at some point it's like when you live with someone, it's especially in a relationship, it's nice to be on a similar schedule.
I think there's so much more here though than just the time they're eating and, hey, don't critique my cooking. This to me is really starting to feel abusive. Like, I do not like this dynamic. I think it's been very clear, hey, don't critique my cooking. I don't appreciate it. I'm not going to cook if you critique me. To me, based on this writing that we have, that seems crystal clear that she's expressed that boundary. And still, she is met with, don't you want to be better? So you can't take a critique? It's sad that you wouldn't want to improve. All of that is extremely manipulative.
So are we looking at some counseling?
I think he needs to go to therapy. I don't know if he's dealing with, maybe OCD is contributing to this, because when Justin cuts up zucchini, I'm not looking at how even slices the zucchini or the whatever are. Like, it seems to me like he has such strict, precise guidelines that maybe he's dealing with, some neurodivergent tendencies that's making him have to have it this way. And if it's not, he cracks and then abuses his partner. But I think honestly, like, until he gets help and he can stop acting like this, I would say, hey, we're going to do separate meals. I'm going to cook my meals.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to cook your meals. And I think that is a great compromise that you brought up, because at this point, she can't do anything right. It's not good for your mental health to be told you suck and berated like this. It feels very just toxic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not healthy for him either. I mean, it's getting to a point where it's like, okay, this is his passion and whatever. But like, if you're coming home after working full time and then you're in the kitchen for 8 hours every night cooking, that's not fun.
So I have my cooking thing down to a science. When I entertain at home, I know that I'm going to cook dinner, and I know that I've gotten when we used to live together, we would make these dinners that would take an hour to cook. I dialed it down to where I can make dinner now in 15 or 20 minutes. Very quick and easy, very good. So I was going to suggest that she may want to select meals that she knows that will come in, or he can make meals that will come in at a timeline, that they're not going to be 2 hours, 3 hours to prep on a daily basis. You get your meal done, prepped and ready to go within 20 to 30 minutes. That way you guys can eat at that selected time.
And what if he refuses to do those simple meals? They're not up to his chef standards.
Then he's got to get in the kitchen earlier, or he's on his own to eat, and she'll either cook for herself, like you said, or she'll bring in food.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to force herself to eat at 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, and she really shouldn't. I think separate meals and him getting therapy is honestly the best solution here. Ideal outcome, I cook, but it doesn't have to be perfect. We start eating before 8 p.m. when he cooks. Additional info, my first option when I tell we are both tired is to offer to buy from any restaurant he wants. We both agree it gets expensive, but to me, I would rather spend $100 than have to hear that once again, my meal isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough when people are foodies. And I respect if you're a foodie. Everyone loves good food.
Mm-hmm.
I think some people take it a bit too far. In this sense, it's with the cooking, but there's also, I felt in my life when someone's like, oh, I go to this meal and oh, this place in the city makes the best this. If you go anywhere else, it won't compare. When people put themselves into that position, it makes it hard for me to go anywhere with them, where I'm like, hey, I really love this place. It'd be great to, have everyone go and experience it. Because you just know that's like, oh, well, these Brussels sprouts aren't like over at blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have done it with this. It is a lot of pressure. And I can't imagine that pressure when you are the one preparing it, instead of just being, the restaurant third party.
And it's your own partner.
And yeah, I would never want to cook. What do you mean? I'd be showing up with pre-prepped something, or I'd grab something on the way home and be like, I already ate, but
I'd be ordering Factor or a meal service every week because I just wouldn't put up with this. I truly think this is
It's abuse. Yeah. And I'm sitting here saying that the abuse isn't worth it. That's the biggest problem. So they have a deeper problem that's going to happen in their marriage unless they find a way through it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I honestly think therapy for him, maybe some couples therapy, but I think this might be a symptom. I don't know. I'd be very curious if he talks down to you in other areas of your life. And this isn't a nice way to talk to someone who's making a meal for you.
This is the man that's supposed to be in love with you. He's the one that's supposed to be cherishing you and just being in delight that you're with him.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because sorry.
You can go.
I think, she's not trying to start her own restaurant. It's not like a Gordon Ramsay type situation. I just picture him like, I don't know what the kitchen setup is, but kind of hovering, passing by, seeing what pans are being used, seeing the slicing happening.
Oh my gosh.
And not saying anything in the moment to actually help be a potential teacher, even if that was possible at this point, but more just waiting like, oh yeah, she used the wrong pan for the whatever. And then just taking one bite of the meal and being like, you used the wrong pan for this, you did this, you did like, dude, I couldn't handle it.
Is that like being in competition with your wife over cooking?
Yeah.
Is that the most ridiculous thing that we've actually heard?
We're just trying to eat.
I don't know. I think this guy needs to actually apply for a cooking show and go get his ass told off by Gordon Ramsay because that might be the best solution. Like, knock him down a peg because, hey, Gordon wouldn't let you cook for 5 hours, buddy. You better speed it up.
Yeah, a restaurant would close real quick.
Just remember he should remember where he is. He's home.
Mm-hmm.
He's with the woman that he apparently loves and that loves him. And that if he keeps abusing you, trust me, you ain't going to love him too much more.
No. But keep us posted, and let's get on to number 2.
Number 2.
Hey, FKS. My situation is a bit unorthodox, and I'm not sure if you can help me, but I feel like having an outside perspective from someone who doesn't know me personally might help. I, 28 female, have recently been wanting to get back into the dating game. For context, I have not been in a relationship for almost 10 years. This was actually due to me exploring religious life in a Catholic convent. For the past 10 years, I have had no desire to date at all, and I truly believed that God was calling me to dedicate my life to Him as a Catholic nun. I have not taken the steps to actually becoming a nun yet, and the process of finding the right community is draining. There have been a lot of ups and downs throughout it. Recently, the desire for companionship has become the forefront of my thoughts. For the past 10 years, I really didn't care at all about dating, and I was happy for my friends who found their partners because I did not feel that lifestyle was for me. But now I find myself envious of their happiness. The issue I'm facing is that I have spent the majority of my 20s not dating, so I don't have the experience under my belt to know how to really do it anymore. I also feel like I should add that I am still a virgin. I do not have a problem with premarital sex. I'm not that kind of crazy Catholic. But once again, it wasn't something I was really interested in at all until recently. I find it almost embarrassing to think about going on dates with guys and having to explain to them that not only have I not been on a date in 10 years, but I also have never had sex, and I'm almost 30. I find myself feeling very guilty about all of these new conflicting feelings I'm having. I'm still considering becoming a nun, but this new desire in me is overpowering. I feel guilty entering into a relationship with someone knowing that one day I may very well leave them to become a nun. It's just not fair to them. On the other hand, I worry that I am going against what I truly believed for so much of my life is what God wanted from me, and that I may be throwing it all away because of some silly romantic fantasy that may not mean anything. I guess my question is twofold. How do I get back into dating as a 28-year-old with little to no prior experience? And if I do end up dating, how do I tell these guys that I'm a virgin without them thinking I'm weird? Ideal outcome, to figure out what I truly want and to not feel guilty about it anymore. Additional info, I have been on dates before. I dated in high school and have been in 3 prior relationships, but none of those were adult relationships. I stopped dating when I was 19 to pursue religious life.
Man, honesty is the man you're looking for is a compassionate, understanding, and a guy who understands who you are, even religiously. For the fact that you feel that you've had a different calling now than the calling you thought you had, this is the time to find out and explore that to see where if there's a reason why you're having these feelings. So if it's either one to challenge you to make sure that the path you are going to take is the right path, or if this new path is the right path for you. Either way, the honesty that you're going to have when you go on a date is what's going to set the stage. Let them know quite clearly where you've been for the past 10 years. And if they have any brains, they're going to figure out that, that you gave your life for chastity for God. And now you're looking to find a relationship. They're I don't think you're really looking for just a one-nighter. You're looking for a relation. You're looking to build something. So if that's what it is, and you are looking to build something, then let's see, when you're honest and open that you're looking for a relationship, to see if that makes them run away or that makes them dig in deeper to go get to know you. Because it's really, you have such depth of who you are. Let's see what they do to respond to that and to encourage you to be the best person you are, if in a life as a relationship or wherever you go. Because the right guy, I'm sorry, I see you're going to go, but the right guy is going to get this.
I mean, this is a follow your gut situation, because I think that's what you've done thus far. But it's a definitely, there's only one way to find out type situation.
Just gotta dip your toes.
And I think you'll know very quickly once you get in, but also this is a tricky one, because it's like, if you go on a few bad dates, that doesn't necessarily mean dating's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just normal adult dating.
Yeah,
because
dating's tough.
Because you say you have the lack of experience, with adult relationships. And given that, it's tough unless if you meet the right guy, then hopefully that allows for you to feel, well, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be, and this is my new path, my new calling. But also that right person could help you make you realize that, no, this was a fantasy or whatever you called it, and I am supposed to be on this other path. But really, I think you could have both. I don't know necessarily if you can be a nun and whatever that is, but I think you could still have a very strong faith and follow that while also finding the right person, because it feels like, to me, you kind of went from one extreme and now you're kind of pendulum shifting. Maybe you fall somewhere in the middle and have both, instead of all of this or all of that.
Do you know what I hear from her? How do I even meet him? How do I find the guy? And I'm thinking to myself, everyone says, go to the websites. But she loved church. She loved being part in the world of God. That doesn't mean she won't find a guy at church, just going to church on Sunday or being active in her congregation. She had to be active.
So many churches have like social hours to hook up their young singles.
Right. So the fact that, that you were in one area of it doesn't mean you can't still stay with your church and find a person who is amongst your faith and your beliefs that could be to be your guy. All you're doing is taking yourself out of the idea of becoming a nun to becoming basically still a Catholic, still a person that wants to believe in God and do the practices. You just want to find someone to do it with, and maybe have a family and have that lifestyle. So I think that's a great place to begin. And also, look, they certainly have websites that are designed for people of faith.
I just had a sponsorship for Bumble, and Justin and I met on Hinge, and all of those dating apps now, like, you can filter by what you're interested in. Like, if you're looking for someone who's very conservative or very religious, and you can pick what faith, you can pick what hobbies they're into. Like, you can needle it down to, like, do they like Taylor Swift? Like, you can really make dating, what you want it to be. But again, I think you gotta realize, like, hey, first couple times on that bike, they might suck. You might get some bad dates, but don't let it discourage you, because there are so many good people out there. And I wouldn't even think anything about the virgin thing. I don't think you need to disclose it on the first date, but it's nothing to be ashamed about. It's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Not at all.
I think in media, we amp up sex so much. Like, clearly there's shows like Euphoria, there's shows like this, like whatever. It does not matter. if you're 28 and still a virgin. Like, I just read a Reddit story the other day that this guy was writing in and he was 35 and he was still a virgin because he just had never met anyone that he was really interested in and connected with. And I don't think twice about that. Like, that does not bother me. It's not going to phase the right person. Honestly, it might interest the right person for you even more. Like, your person will not care. Your person will just love you. And so get out there, get your toes wet, just start dating. And I think it'll really help. But I do agree. I'm like, maybe the nun role isn't your role, but like in my head, and I get in your head, and someone who's really religious might be very different. But if you're still, upholding what God would want and participating in the faith and teaching about the faith, or, maybe doing some minister, smaller type roles, or teaching Sunday school, like, are you still not helping God and the faith, but also still having a life that's fulfilling? Like, it sounds like a have your cake and eat it too to me. So.
And it's always good to have your cake and eat it too.
It's the ideal outcome.
That's
what we all want.
That's.
I'd love a piece of cake right now.
That's happiness at its ultimate point.
Yeah,
so.
But just get out there, start dating.
Yeah, and most importantly, don't, just like Morgan said, don't think every one of them is going to be perfect. Look, there's going to be some dates that are going to be a little awkward. You're going to be with the wrong person. It's just identifying it, not trying to force the dating, not trying to force this person to be your person. Let it happen organically. And the fact that if you start dating and you hold off physically, and I hate to say it this way, but hold up the physicality just long enough to get to know different people. That way, at least you're not misleading anybody or yourself as you're getting to know different people, and you can be open and honest about it. And if they see the gold in you, they'll go along letting you experience what you need to experience and back off and relax, and just know that the best person will end up with you, and it might be them. We'll see.
Yeah. Keep us posted.
Are we going to roll on to number 3? Let's do it.
How many shoehorns you got these days?
Oh, globally?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a lot of them globally.
This is such a
double
weird
digits
new thing for you.
Not yet. Okay.
No, I probably have about 5 or 6.
Okay.
Floating around.
Still, like, this is an interesting new direction you're going with the shoehorns.
Yeah, some people have, pipes. I just have my shoehorn.
Oh,
okay.
Right.
Number 3.
Dear Jerry, Morgan, and Justin, I've been a big fan of your show and THT for a while now, and my fiance and I always pause to give our takes, and we love how often we align with what you guys say.
Hey.
It's so refreshing to have access to quality dad advice because I've always had a strained relationship with my own dad, and my partner's dad lives halfway across the country. So your input would be much appreciated. Here's the issue. My partner and I are recently engaged and so happy together. He's so kind, supportive, loving, and we laugh together all the time. I can't wait to be married to him. However, the wedding planning has already been extremely stressful for us. Mostly because of how some family members of my side of the family identify politically and religiously. My uncle, my dad's brother and best friend, has some pretty extreme beliefs that my partner and I wholeheartedly disagree with. In fact, both me and my fiance have pursued careers that are in direct opposition to his beliefs. In some ways, it feels having him and his family there would be
a catastrophe.
Antithetical to a celebration of the relationship my fiance and I have grown together. In recent years, I've found it really hard to separate politics and my fundamental values, especially when it comes to issues that affect women, immigrants, the LGBTQ community, and other marginalized people. This is especially true because my younger sibling has been out as trans for about 5 years now. While my parents claim they're trying, they still regularly use their dead name and former pronouns. I know this really hurts them as we're very close. And my fiance and I have been some of our only family members who fully respect and honor their identity. Cut to my older sister's wedding, which occurred this past summer. My sibling brought their lovely partner to the wedding and wore a suit in the same color as the bridal party's dresses. They looked phenomenal, despite my parents and sister giving them a hard time about it. After the wedding, when everyone was saying goodbye, my dad's brother made inappropriate comments to my sibling, something along the lines of needing to pray for them or some BS. I know they felt super uncomfortable about the interaction. Now it's time for my fiance and I to plan our own special day. My dad insists that his brother attend even after we explained our hesitations and the situation at my older sister's wedding. He also said he wouldn't allow us to invite any of his siblings if we didn't allow this brother on the guest list. He's one of 4, and only that brother has adopted those beliefs. My parents will be helping with the cost of the wedding, and they have been holding it over us.
No.
When we first approached the issue, he said it might be your wedding, but I'm writing the check.
Nope.
Very much aligned with how my parents have leveraged money to control me and my siblings in the past. What makes me really sad about this situation is that it feels like he's choosing his brother over his own kids. He won't even have a conversation with his brother to set boundaries on our and my siblings' behalf. So maybe, more accurately, he's choosing his own comfort over us. With everything going on in the world and the protections for trans people getting rolled back so aggressively, I feel an even greater obligation to protect my baby sibling. Am I being out of line or asking too much from my dad? Ideal outcome, a stress-free wedding day where I know the people I care about most feel safe to express themselves and their joy to the fullest.
What? I'm pissed.
You want to go first? You want to let it out?
The only way you are going to have a stress-free, enjoyable wedding day is if you do not accept any money from your parents and you truly set your foot down. You're an adult, you're getting married. I don't care if it means you have to downsize your wedding and you don't get the flowers you want or you go to a cheaper venue. You will not enjoy your day if you take their money and you let yourself get manipulated by them. Your wedding hasn't happened yet. You're planning and he says, it might be your wedding, but I'm writing the check. Do not take the check. Rip it up. I'm so serious. Justin and I just did a wedding episode for 2 Hot Takes. You might have listened to it. It's, is eloping underrated? And if you look at the comments on the YouTube, on the Instagram, you look at the poll, the amount of people that said elope. My day got, hijacked from someone. This person made it stressful. This. And there's so many people out there that have had great weddings too, right? But your family is already showing the potential for disaster. And you are so excited. You want to have a good day. And the person you love and care about protecting will not have a good day. And you won't have a good day if you don't really lay the hammer down and say, Dad, not taking your money. I don't care if you open up a new credit card to get what you want and find something with low interest and come up with a good budget, but do not take the money and set the line. Uncle's not getting invited. I'm inviting those other siblings. I'm sending the invite. It's my wedding. You can't stop me. And if you have an issue, you don't have to come either because that's where you're at. I'm like, this is such a hard line for me where the dad not stepping up for your sibling that's getting told, oh, I'll pray for you. Your dad doesn't care or he believes what the uncle is saying because otherwise you don't let someone disrespect your child like that. Okay, that was my soapbox. Someone else?
You ready for me?
Whew. Yeah, let's go.
I agree 100% with you. I don't have to say one word.
There you go.
I'm so pissed.
What do you got?
Well, I have some more I guess. Well, I have some more.
You were holding out on us. He does this to me all the time. We have additional info and he's like, you were holding out.
Well, I have some additional background on the dad's kind of character here.
Okay.
My relationship with my dad is strained because he rarely will go out of his way to do things for others. even in his own family. Example, after our family dog passed away, he pushed us to replace her immediately, even when I said I needed time. However, went ahead, got a puppy, and I was left to do everything for her while he would leave her locked in the crate anytime he was home alone with her. My mom even once told me she's afraid that if she ever got sick, he would leave her. I could really use some dad advice.
I'm done with dad. I think you nailed it. I mean, as far as your wedding goes, I think you just go get the people that are really important to you, invite them and say, we're having a nice, small little wedding. We don't have a lot of money. You don't even have to just say, we're having a nice, small wedding. Come and join us. And that's really what it is. Dial it back. Morgan said everything correctly. I don't need to go hear myself talk, and you guys don't need to hear me when we all agree.
No, but it is hard. I mean, I know I've gone through the struggle of like, do I keep trying to maintain a relationship with my dad, or do I just let it go because it's not healthy? And it is a really hard place to get to. And I understand the struggle.
It's not hard. This is setting, you're an adult. You said it. You're an adult. Set your path, hold your line. He'll get the message real quick. I don't cross this boundary. I mean, if you have to spell out to him, say, Dad, this is a boundary for me, and I'm sorry, but no, I really appreciate you wanting to pay for my wedding under your terms.
Yeah.
But I don't need it. I'm going to do something different. And I'm going to invite just the people who I really believe will give me a wonderful time at a wedding. And don't send him the invitation. He's not part of it.
Yeah. I mean, the wedding is just everything comes together and comes to a head with weddings.
Yeah.
It brings all the problems and every family dynamic right together.
Doesn't have to.
But it, like Morgan was saying, it kind of sets the tone for the future. This wedding is one day. It's a big day, but it is one day. And we kind of need to set the tone for how we're going to be dealing with dad, going forward.
This is all about respect and the lack thereof. And your dad does not have the respect for you to honor what your wishes are. Even to go to his brother and say, Dave or whatever his brother's name is, the behavior that you did was totally out of left field. And I can't allow that to happen at the next one. And I understand you may want to attend our wedding, but I want you to really realize that I can't invite you to Stacy's wedding because, and I'm using that as a fictitious name because I just can't invite you to the wedding because of what happened last time. And it wasn't appropriate. And I don't think that you can control yourself.
That would be the ideal. Yeah.
And if he can do that, great. But if he can't do it,
right. He can't, and
he
won't, and he will continue to manipulate you with money and hold that over your head. From people I know that have not enjoyed their wedding days, it's because they let their family road run. I don't know, like steamroll. They let their family steamroll their stuff. Whether it was like my mom invited way more people than I told her she could. Like she just brought all her friends, or I didn't even get to pick what cake I wanted because my mom picked my cake, or my dad did this. It's like, it becomes not enjoyable because it's not what you want. And I just don't think if you're already getting into just wedding planning and he's already threatening you and holding checks over your head, don't take it. Do not take it.
You got some time.
Morgan, you nailed it in the very beginning.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I get, like, people can disagree with politics. People can have differing opinions with politics. Like, that's fine. But when you start disagreeing on whether humans deserve rights or not, that's not someone you should have to put up with. And I think the uncle is completely out of line, and no, don't invite him. Keep us posted though. I'm very, very curious how this goes.
I would also recommend a shoehorn. You can use it on people.
We don't need assault charges for our friends.
Let's move on to number 4.
Number 4.
Hi, fam.
Hi.
I love you guys, and I listen to you all day at work. I'm having a problem with my boyfriend of 3 years. We are both freshly adults and we live at home. He's amazing and I love him so much. My problem is, I think we are, as Morgan loves to say, enmeshed. 24/7 FaceTime. Not kidding. I have an iPad, so he's on there all day, unless he's at work or with his friends. I don't know how to stop either. He's my best friend. He makes every day special and not so lonesome in my house. We want to move out together in June, so maybe the physical closeness will almost help that. But then I fear we will just be with each other at home all day unless it's for work. I'm just caught up in this world, and it feels like the rest of the world is actually participating in life while I'm in a bubble. Of course, my bubble is pleasant, but I want to do more things, alone and together. Ideal outcome, I want us to have a healthy bond rather than whatever codependency this is. Additional info, I've always been codependent, and I'm afraid of therapy.
Well, I'm sorry you're afraid of therapy, but it might be your best friend.
I think it could really help.
And I think you have to really approach it with the idea that it might teach you something new and help break these habits, and not worry about your relationship surviving by going through it. It's just, it won't survive by not going through it. Typically, you got to be healthy on all sides of the box. And the way to do that is you need interaction from other people. You need to be able to go out in the daylight and not have this shadow right with you. It doesn't mean you don't want to miss them. Give yourself the chance to miss them.
That.
And think about them when they're not there, not having the instant gratification of them being there. So when you do come home and you see their car in the driveway, your heart gets to go pitter-pat because you've missed them during the day. But you can't give yourself that real chance for that really to develop by being there 24/7.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the head too when you said, like, I live in this bubble. And it's like, if you are just constantly on FaceTime with someone, literally, if he's not working, like he's there on your iPad, like, how are you even getting the chance to hear your own thoughts? How are you getting a chance to just decompress and not be on and just maybe go try a new hobby, maybe go out with a friend? Like, yeah, it's a pleasant bubble, but like, you don't have to put yourself in the bubble at all. You can live a full life, and maybe FaceTime, goes off 2 days a week to start. You don't have to quit cold turkey, but one day, hey babe, Mondays, we don't FaceTime. Mondays are my day. I'm going to go out. I'm going to walk around the park. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Go start living. If you make your partner your whole world,
you're not growing.
You're not growing. And what happens if you guys don't work out? Then you have no one. You have no village. And we need villages in our life. We need friends. We need social contact. Like, that is what makes healthy, happy people.
Absolutely. You need to grow. And the only way you're going to grow is by bringing other interaction and other people in your life that you can communicate with. And certainly knowing that he has to be jealous about, just to build friendships.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any two people that have ever existed that could be together 24/7 and not end up hating each other. There's just no way. And like you said, it's destructive to your relationship for sure in the long run. Mm-hmm. And it's destructive to yourself. But the good thing here is you've already made the first hard step in recognizing there's a problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because a lot of people would just stay in this little bubble, comfy, cozy, and not realize there's an issue until it's too late. For the relationship or for yourself.
I really do think that you should find some counseling, someone that you can talk to about it, and just hear what they have to say. And it might really give you some awareness to some of this and how to get past that, keeping your relationship, but also making it healthier.
Yeah. And I will say, like, for anyone that's nervous about therapy, you don't have to be. And I'll give you like an analogy that I'm thinking about for this listener. It sounds like this listener has a job. When you go and you get a job, you have to go through an interview, right? You go, you meet the person, whether it's your manager or whatever boss there, and you interview. And you're kind of both getting a read on each other. Do I like this manager? Do I want to work with them? And they're kind of like, is this the right person for the job here? That's kind of what it feels like initially when you're starting therapy. You're almost interviewing your therapist. You're, making sure you guys click. And then as you go on, it's kind of this like same dynamic as like maybe with a coworker where there's this level of professionalism, but you're nice. You're just getting to know each other, maybe a little friendly, but there's still that professionalism there that you want to maintain. And it's really nothing to be scared about. It can feel really scary sharing vulnerable, intense information or trauma or things like that. But these are trained professionals. They've heard it all. They've been trained on how to address a lot of it. So you will be in good hands. But hey, if you go to the interview and you don't like them, bye. Try the next one. No harm changing. You just keep going. It's like dating or making friends. You really have to kind of feel out that person and if they're going to be a good match.
Mm-hmm. And I also think, maybe some of the nerves about therapy here are due to you don't necessarily want to dive into your whole life and your whole background and everything that has led up to this point and all the other trauma you've gone through. I do think with therapy, yeah, you can give general, like they get to know you a little bit, but you don't have to open up your whole past just to deal with the kind of situation that's right in front of you.
Yes.
You can go in and say, here's what I'm going through. They can get a little background. But if you feel that some stuff that you've gone through that you don't want to open up is not relevant to your current problem, it doesn't have to be part of that
100%.
dynamic.
100%.
If you then get comfortable and say, I really like this therapist and they've kind of been helping me with this codependency issue, then you could go down the rabbit hole of, well, maybe I start talking about this other stuff too. But for now, just focus on what you want to focus on. That's what they're there for.
100%. They give you the tools. We can't handle life.
Tools are good, right, Jerry?
Can't
I
handle
love
life
tools.
on our own.
As long as you can find them.
We find them.
Eventually. Okay, moving on.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Is this the finale?
Maybe. You're going to be able to stay awake for us down there?
I'm awake, baby. Number 5. Cinco.
Hi from Tasmania. I, 22 female, and my boyfriend, 22 male, have been together for 3 years, 2 of which we did long distance while he was in the Army. Although we only saw each other once every 3 months, I still considered our relationship a very strong one, and the distance between us didn't make a difference to me. Fast forward to now, my boyfriend has left the Army, and we've been living together for about 8 months. On New Year's Eve 2024, I was convinced that he was going to propose. It was our anniversary, and my boyfriend had told me at the last minute that we weren't going to my family New Year's Eve party. We were instead going on a romantic camping trip, just the 2 of us. When the night passed and he hadn't proposed, I was devastated. I told him why I was so obviously upset, and he said that we wouldn't be getting engaged so soon as, quote, 2 of the years we have been together didn't really count. To me, the time we were apart counts the most. I know with 100% certainty that he is the man I will be with forever. But since New Year's Eve, I can't stop thinking about how he doesn't feel like we are ready for the next step when I am so ready. My boyfriend has reassured me that I'm the woman he wants to be with and we will be getting engaged, so I don't understand what he is waiting for. I hope you will be able to offer some advice on how to push aside this feeling of wanting more and getting quite annoyed while waiting for him to catch up to the level that I'm on.
A lot of people go through this.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Go figure. When you're together, I know everyone wants that knowing security that they're ready to commit and they're going to be there. And sometimes we just have to put back and just say, they're coming home to me. They're there for me. I'm there for them. And we have this relationship. And while you're going through that, when you're married, you may have that little extra security, but you can talk to many people that will say that marriage made no more security. It really is back to the basic of we talk together, we communicate together. When we're not together, we can go out and be with friends, but we can't wait to go back home and be with that person. We find joy with them. That's really what it's about. And so if you're married having that, if you're engaged having that, and then you have it with being engaged or not being engaged, you have it. That's the thing that you have to focus on right now, that you're together and you're enjoying life. And when every day there's a new adventure and you're growing. If that's happening, don't worry. The engagement will happen. Trying to push that word engagement is in a lot of ways, it's a falsehood. Don't fall into it, because it's not as important as back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
We want to grow every day together and see each other and have fun and have our relationship that we count on one another. And when we go out, we have fun with one another. We wake up or we talk, we have fun with one another. That's really the important thing. And I would focus on that.
Yeah, I don't really understand I'm ready, and he has very valid reasons for not necessarily being at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We can disagree on, the first 2 years as a couple of what they were, whatever.
Which that is interesting to me,
but
I will say.
Even with that, it's like, if you feel that this is your person and they're reciprocating that, but they're not ready to necessarily propose, but they're going out of their way and doing all these special things that then are ruined for you because you're like, well, they didn't propose. That's a really bad cycle to be in,
mm-hmm.
because they're stepping up, showing effort, doing way more than the next guy would.
Mm-hmm.
Like the special trip and this, and then it's like, oh, he's going to propose. I mean, we've seen that through different friends and stories.
I've been there.
And it's like, oh, he's going to propose. And then the really special thing that just happened is totally ruined because you didn't get this, what you thought was going to be a proposal.
It does take away in a sense. Or can.
Everything is timing, but in this sense, it's like, he's not there yet. If you believe he's your person and he thinks the same about you, then let's just roll with it for a while. Like Jerry was saying, let's just enjoy life together. When it happens, it's going to happen. Obviously, if we get to a point where it's like, hey, I made this comment, it's been a few years, like,
then like,
are we dragging our feet and this isn't happening? But I'm not getting that sense right now. I'm getting very valid reasons on his end where it's like, no. And obviously we have a paragraph here, right? But my gut feeling on this is like, let's just roll with it. And then if it gets to a point where you really are like, I'm taking this, I need to take this step or we're done, then you can get there. But I don't.
No.
Like, let's take a little bit of pressure off.
Well, and let's also look at age. You both are 22. And I fully understand that you think this is going to be the person that you spend the rest of your life with. This is the man I will be with forever. And I don't want to take away from that. But
remember, she's ready to say, I do.
I know. And I don't want to take away from that, because some people do meet their soulmate at 21 and 22 and 19 and, a bunch of ages. But I will say, I thought that about my boyfriend at 22. And if I would have married that one, no, my life would have been painful. So in my eyes, and maybe this is something that you can kind of reframe in your head, I would start to think, I'm 22. What's the hurry? What's the hurry? Wouldn't you rather wait a couple years, really dating, really traveling, enjoying life, decorating together, doing all these things, and making sure he's the right person, versus getting married now and finding out in 2 years he's not the right person and you have to go through a divorce, potentially a divorce, and then co-parenting, which is an added dynamic. And then you have to find your new person who is actually your person while you have an ex that you're co-parenting with.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that could go into that. So just take the pressure off, truly. Like, you're 22. I know in your additional info, you mentioned you have siblings, 32, 30, 28, that aren't married. And the boyfriend has said that the siblings not being married is a part of the reason hasn't proposed, which that's a weird excuse. Ignore that. But like, what is the pressure? I think for me, I just wanted a sense of commitment. Like, hey, we are working forward. We're moving in the right direction, which you guys are. You moved in together. You're continuing to date now and build your life. Great direction. Justin and I were together 4 years, 5 years,
I thought 5.
5 years before we
Not
got
quite.
engaged. We got engaged in September, and our 5-year anniversary was that December.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our timeline. And like for me, if I would have gone to that 5-year mark without an engagement, I would have been like, okay, maybe he's not that serious.
Just in time.
It was.
That's why it's my name, Just in Time.
And that's a fair boundary to have. But like, you guys have not lived in the same city, just a year. You have that overlap, and now you're moving in together. So I think you're on the right track. And yeah, if you want to set a boundary for yourself, like where you're like, hey, 2 more years, if I'm not engaged, like he doesn't respect my timeline, I'm moving on. And that would be your choice.
You could be really wild and just propose to him.
You could. I did joke. I said I would do that to you. But I will say,
but also, you want to make sure that when you do propose,
right,
to him, the answer is going to be yes.
Yeah.
You don't want him to have to say, honey, I do want to marry, but I'm not ready to get engaged today.
I know.
No,
I'm just if you put that out there, it's just kind of this scary threat that flies around you like a bat.
I was fully kidding. But I will say, as someone that did wait to Justin waited to propose and I had to wait to get engaged. Like after I got engaged, I didn't even care. I was like, okay, yeah, I feel good. Like I didn't immediately start wedding planning.
It will be 2 years from your engagement till you get married.
Yeah. And I'm still like, I want to be married, but I'm like, well, we could wait another year on the wedding. Like it was just the sign of a commitment and we're on the same page. And I do think you're getting that by moving in together at 22 and like you're building this big life. Like that is huge. So you're on the right track. Take the pressure off. Make sure you're going to be with the right person because it's not fun to find out, at 25, you picked the wrong one.
This is my hand up.
Interesting.
Like you wouldn't get your turn.
Yeah. With just 3 of us here.
This is a little story which you get bored with, but I know a couple that I have met that they're now probably close to their 80s, late 70s, 80s.
Okay.
And they were, second relationship after marriage. They've been together for, I think, 37 years or somewhere plus or minus. However, they've only been married for 10, plus or minus.
Are you talking about my grandma?
No, not at all.
Oh.
But it's interesting that, no, they've been together for all these years. They just never got married. And when he wanted to get married, the thing that I heard that was said is by her, I've been married. Why do I need to be married? And finally, she acquiesced and they did get married finally. So long as you're together and you're growing, that's really the important part that I see. I see reasons to get married. There's financial reasons. You want to make sure that, with different, Social Security and different, there are reasons.
But it doesn't handcuff you.
It does. It's not a handcuff at all.
But that's right. But that's like, I need to get to that marriage because then I know we're committed. We're locked down forever. But it's like, that's not these days.
That's bullshit.
No.
I mean, I know so many people that have been married, and let me tell you, they're on number 4.
Yeah.
So when you're on number 4, you can see how the commitment does not come from the ring. The commitment comes from the heart.
Yeah.
And, when you start dating someone, you can make that choice. Am I committed to that person or am I not? And it's not really what you say to them. It's what you say to yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's the only person that you really have to answer to. I know that when I'm with somebody and I'm committed, they may not even know I'm committed. I know I'm committed. I know that I have no interest in anybody else because I'm locked down. I wanted that relationship to work and I'm going to put all my focus into that relationship. And the day that I know that I'm not being focused on that relationship is the day that I have a talk and say, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Can we work on it or do we just let it go? And so the fact that he was there to take you on that wonderful romantic camping trip, I think that you need to be more appreciative and that you can say, wow, he really went out of his way to do this, to have that quality time. And it wasn't really about the engagement thing. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the time you're with them and grow.
Yeah. And that was really special. So yeah, I've been there and I know it's so hard. I don't know what sometimes our brains do to us, but it will come with the right person, whether it's him or not. Relax, enjoy the ride, and just, make sure it's the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's it for tonight, is it?
No, we've got number 6. It's kind of a happy note to end on, but it is a tumultuous story. Deals with some sexual harassment at work, but it is a happy ending.
Number 6.
Hey guys, love ya. Straight to the point. I quit my job on the spot after almost 2 years, and I've never felt better in my life, and I think Papa Jerry would love this.
I can't wait to hear it.
I am a woman in a man's field. I am/was a welder, and after years of dealing with guys telling me to give them blowjobs and coming up behind me and yanking on my hair and asking if I liked it in a sexual way, being told I have guys over all the time to blow my back out. I've had an amazing boyfriend for 3 years, so it isn't random, guys. And high school bullying in a professional environment since I started. It has completely crushed my mental and physical health being in that environment. And 2 weeks ago, I got written up and screamed at for putting my hair in a ponytail before I cleaned my area. And I left. After months of going into HR and crying about how horrible and uncomfortable I was out there, they did nothing. And the one other girl that was in the shop with me that I thought was a good coworker to me turned her back on me and said the most horrible stuff about me with the people who harassed me every day. After I walked out, I was a wreck, but now, having 2 weeks to find my mental state again, it has been such a relief. I feel like I can actually breathe again, and I am so happy.
Well, I can certainly tell you one thing. I know what it is like in a machine/welding shop.
Pigs.
I had one.
Yeah, no, these people you worked with are absolute disgusting pigs.
So there's no doubt. And I feel bad that you had to really get out of a job that you probably really loved.
Mm-hmm.
Because welding is an art. It really is. And
Yeah.
I've known many women that are welders and they've done beautiful work. And, it's an art, period. A weld bead is a signature.
I know, everyone has their own, yeah.
They all have their own signature.
Welding is really cool.
So I hope you can find welding again, even if it's on the artistic side or somewhere different than where you were. You were obviously in a place where people had no respect and they're dickheads.
Well, it's terrible when people make you dislike your passion or something that you truly love.
Yeah.
Just because of, the work environment or because of how people criticize what you do or anything, whether it's a creative field, whether it's more, trades, whether it's whatever it could be out there. When people make you hate something that you truly love and have a passion for, it's just disgusting.
So let me ask a question. Doesn't she have options at this point in time? She's out of there. Can't she go back and file a suit certainly for HR not listening? I'm sure she's got copies of those write-ups, those complaints. No actions were taken. No one ever suffered.
You know what's really hard? I'm not sure with the state of politics currently. A lot of DEI initiatives also help protect women in the workplace. So I'm not sure, but it might be worth looking into. And, if you do want to get back into welding, not every welding place is going to be like this. Not every welding place is going to have piggish people who make very inappropriate comments. Like, that's not all welding shops. So
they're dickheads.
If you love it, go back, you'll find your spot. But if you don't, if you want to try something else, which I think you might based on the additional info, I'm thinking of going back to school to learn a different profession. The job made me develop carpal tunnel and tendonitis, very bad in both hands. And in these 2 weeks, my hands hurt no more. And I can actually hold a pencil for more than a minute without my hands going numb.
That's an important factoid.
You might be at a critical point yourself. Happy note now, but critical point of going back to school or going back into a trade. I will say, maybe look into OT, because if you do go back into welding, there are definitely adaptions and things like a wrist guard that could help you keep your wrist more neutral and not agitate your carpal tunnel.
Yeah. And by the way, just to excite you about welding, there's some new equipment that's coming out that's out today for laser welding. That is just amazing stuff that's out there.
And you're young, 19.
Yeah,
19
that's crazy.
female.
That sounds exciting though. You've
Be on the new
you've
wave.
explored that world, and now it's like, let's try something new. That's what I wish I could live a million lifetimes to be a film director, to be do music like I am now, to do X. I want to do all the different careers.
I will say this one thing. There is nothing about what you did in welding that does not benefit you going forward into whatever your life will be, because they can't take that experience from you.
No.
And you will find that things that you've done, you're 19. So you're going to find out that there's the jobs that you've done, the things you've done, how it applies to something totally different 5 years, 10 years down the road. You'll say, I can use this for that. And it's amazing that it's all new foundations. Build these foundations.
Yeah.
And you'll see how you'll apply them as life goes on.
Well, and the age, honestly, is irrelevant. I mean, if you're listening to this one as a 19, 29, 39,
40,
49
50-year old,
however old you are, you can always take this step. And it can be really exciting. Why not change it up?
I'm 67. I'm a podcaster.
Why? Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it reminds me of the movie The Intern.
Go figure. Yeah.
I love that movie. It's a good one.
I did. I love it too.
Yeah. Robert De Niro, Anne Hathaway. So good.
Are we done? This is it?
That's all we got. Yeah. Critical points.
We'll see you over on Patreon. We love you. And thanks for joining us and being a part of our family. If you are simply a Spotify listener or a radio listener, don't forget, you're welcome to come see what we look like.
Yeah, come over to YouTube, because that's where we really want you guys to leave your comments for the listeners. It's definitely the more active community we have, and
I read those comments.
You do, yeah, you do, and you kind of defend yourself in them some weeks. So, like when you clip a key on your belt and it looks like a chastity belt. But
that was really scary.
We really appreciate when you guys go and comment on YouTube or the Instagram. We will likely be opening Spotify comments soon, but I think the YouTube is a great way where everyone can interact and give their advice, and our listeners do see it. Our listeners are often in the comments saying, "Hi, I'm the writer from story number 4."
And this is a reach out for Molly. You asked us where our address was, and if you go right into the description on Instagram or on YouTube, it will give you the address on Wilshire Boulevard.
The P.O. box is on there. It's in the description.
That is correct.
Yeah, our special P.O. box.
I can't wait.
That you got to go check tomorrow. Apparently, I've gotten some presents.
I'm going to go check it out.
I've gotten some presents.
I'm going to grab your key.
Head over to Patreon. It is really, really good this month.
It's popping.
And January stories we did, it was all me and my dad. We were on one, you guys. We were on one. So come on over and join us.
And here's the big dating game, or whatever they call it. There used to be a show called The Dating Game and The Newlywed Game.
Yeah, The Dating Game is the one that serial killer went on.
Holy shit! But they.
You didn't know that?
My brother was on that show, that game too.
Oh, he's not a serial killer, luckily.
And we do the big dating game, kiss goodbye.
That I think is just going to be a you thing. Bye, guys.
Bye.